Welcome to The Real Effective Answers for Life with your host, Tammy K. Here we deal with real life, real people, and real answers for those difficult questions that many will not address. With every discussion planned, we pray that it brings insight, hope, healing, and deliverance as we keep it real so God can deal and we can heal. And today, we're going to be talking about not allowing your ex to hex your next. And the title proper is Don't Let Your Ex Hex Your Next. And this topic is being brought back up. It was a podcast that was previously done. And then I had a friend of mine who's preparing for marriage again, or in other words, he's remarrying. And he asked if I could, actually, I think he asked me if he could have the notes or if I could find the old podcast again. And I just felt led to just revisit the topic. This is one that can never get old, and it is one that unfortunately plagues many of our marriages continually over and over and over again. But we've got to be ever so careful not to allow our exes to hex our next. An ex, by definition, means out. If we exit, we leave out. To excavate means to dig out. Extraordinary means out of the ordinary. Ex relationally or romantically means that an individual is out of another individual's life. Hex means cursed or cast out. Next means after what was or is now out. And so some indications that your ex may potentially be hexing or is actually hexing your next is one, you're not able to fully engage in your present because you're constantly dwelling on your past. And by that I mean, say perhaps you're already married and now you're planning to build a new home, or you're planning to renovate your old home. You're making plans to purchase a new car. You're making plans just to plan your future together, or even if you're not married, you're making plans to marry. And whether it's the wedding plans themselves or, setting goals and things that you want to do, working toward marriage, and your other spouse, they're thrilled, they're excited, they're embracing you, they're just overjoyed, and you're, whatever. It's all whatever. It's whatever. Been there, done that, no big deal. Yes, it is a big deal because to that other person, they're entering into your relationship new and with a fresh start, and they're embracing you and all that your new life holds in front of you. And it's not fair to them that they're excited, they're overjoyed, they're, full of life and looking forward to life with you. And you literally are acting like you could take or leave them. Like it's just, it is what it is, whatever. There's also that constant reminiscing or thinking of that ex, or constantly talking about that ex, whether it's negative emotion or whether it's positive. Either way, that positive or negative thought also brings the negative or positive emotion that comes with it. And then as a result of that, it leads into your comparing your present with your past or your next to your ex. It's that comparison of, well, my ex-wife used to iron my shirt, and my ex-wife made sure my dinner was done when I came home, and my ex-wife cooked dinner for me every night, or my ex-husband was mechanically inclined and I didn't have to worry about my car because he took care of it, or my ex-husband took out the trash, or my ex-husband, he was a handyman and anything that needed to be fixed around the house, he took care of it. That's all well and good. And that was all well and good then. But right now, you're not dealing with your ex. You're dealing with someone totally different. And that comparison often makes that person feel unappreciated and unwanted. And then with that comparison also brings unrealistic expectations. And I'm just going to keep it 100. That constant comparison for me would make me ready to say, well, then that's who you need to be with. You need to go back to your ex, or you need to find someone just like your ex. I'm just saying. And because that unrealistic expectation is then there for that next to fulfill the role of the ex. And that's a miserable place to be in. Instead of you embracing that person for who they are and the uniqueness and the flavor that they bring to the table and they bring into the relationship, you're handcuffing them to fulfilling a role and an unrealistic expectation of your past and someone else instead of embracing who they are, which would cause them to question, or at least me, that, hey, do you love me? Or do you love the idea of me fulfilling the role of your ex? And then, of course, there's a fear of another failed relationship. And we've all heard that expression that fear is false evidence appearing real. And I've said this before. What makes that evidence appear real is that oftentimes it is rooted in something that was once real, something that did once occur, of previous failure, previous rejection, failed relationship, whatever the case may be. But that was then, and this is now. And it's a lie now because it's not what God is speaking concerning your next. It's not what God is concerning your now. So don't allow that fear to then prevent you from being able to recommit and be able to walk into and to reap the blessing that God has for you in your next. And then there's remaining friends. And there's nothing wrong with remaining friends if that can be done peaceably and it can be done with setting boundaries. Certainly if you have children, you absolutely, if at all possible, should try to maintain a relationship with that ex, or at least be able to be cordial with one another and at least be able to set a positive, healthy interaction around your children and because of your children. And you might need to call on that ex sometimes to help you with that child. However, the help should only be as far as the children are concerned. Not helping you to come over and fix your plumbing. Not helping you come over and fix your electric or fix your car, or your car ran out of gas or your tire is flat. That's when you call on friends. That's when you call on other family members, because that's no longer the role of your ex. And in setting those boundaries, you also need to make sure that and actually you may even want to include your next in setting those boundaries. Like, okay, they should not be calling you past this time of day. They should not be calling you this many times during the week. So you may want to include your next into setting the boundaries with the ex. And even before getting to that point, you want to first and foremost make sure that that next is okay with the relationship or the friendship that you have with your ex. And some people have that mindset, look, I'm grown. That's on you. If you want to be that insecure, that's your problem, not mine. I'm going to do what I want. No, it's not okay. And yes, you do have to consider the feelings of that other person. The very fact that you're in a relationship says we, not me. And so you've got to consider the feelings of that other person. That is, if you genuinely love that other person and you desire to stay in relationship with that person. Isaiah 43, verse 18, it says to forget the former things. Do not dwell on the past. God is saying, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. In other words, now it's blossoming. Now it's coming forth. Do you not perceive it? Or in other words, do you not see it? I am making a way in the wilderness and streams in the wasteland. And so, in other words, forget the former things. Don't dwell on the past. Don't think about the past. Don't allow your ex to hex your next. Because if you do, you might well miss out on that new thing that I'm doing right here in front of you. Don't miss out on God transforming your wilderness and your wasteland into a wonderland, into a land of blessing and wonder and awe. It's physically impossible to look straight ahead and look back. I ain't talking about looking peripheral. because then that means you halfway forward and halfway backwards. But I'm saying that it is physically impossible to look straight ahead and to look backwards at the same time. And you cannot build a new home on the broken foundation of your past. Because if that foundation is still broken and unrepaired, it will cause your new home to crumble just as it caused your first one. Don't miss out on the blessing of what is and is yet to become, wishing for what was and should have been. You'll never see the beauty of your present and future looking through the tainted lenses of an ugly past. And so my prayer for you tonight as I conclude this podcast is that you do not allow looking back at your past to prevent you from seeing what's right in front of you and your future. I pray that you do not get stuck in the misery of your past, but believe God for the miraculous in and for your future. And as always, I want to encourage you to keep it real so God can deal and we can heal.